Well, hello. So I'm going to be doing a quick video on some creams and some beauty products that I have used and just kind of like what you might be looking for and kind of like the difference between them all and everything like that. So I'm just going to get right to it and just show you kind of like what I have here. So I live in a small town, so I don't really have a whole lot of different places to get like different high-end brands. I just kind of get with whatever I can get at a Shoppers, or we do have a Body Shop, so that's where these came from. There's a blueberry one and a pina colada one here. So the difference between the two, besides the scent, is that you see how this one here is a little bit more thick. Like it's not like as creamy. It's like a little bit more thick. It's not runny or anything like that. So I find that thicker creams are better for like cold weather, so that like you kind of have to rub it in really well, so that way it kind of gets underneath the skin a little bit better and it stays there, and it tends to be a little bit more oily, so it's better for dry skin. If you want something that's kind of going to dry into the skin a lot more, something that's a little bit more what I call wet would be better. So as you can see, this one here is a lot more wet. See that? So it's going to go on a lot thinner, and it's going to absorb into the skin a little bit faster. It's still good for dry skin, but I find that thicker it is, the more treatment it is. Like it's like kind of more medicated like. Um, so I have some more body ones. So I've used the Vaseline one. This is a little bit more liquidy as well, because it is in a pump too. But I find that one there isn't bad, but I find with the thicker ones, like the blueberry one, that one is, when it dries, you can kind of still feel a little bit of it on your skin. Like it's not like really thick, but it's like you could still kind of feel it. The Aveeno though is really good. I find that is more of a watered down one. So if you're one to not want to have any texture or anything on your skin when you put cream on, then you definitely would want to have something a little bit more thinner. And speaking of such, when you have oils as well, oils, it's funny because when you put it on, it is really oily and residuey or whatever, but when you rub it in, it actually dries to like really really soft. So if you want to have like the consistency of it drying it in really well, but you don't find that the other ones, like the creamier ones, really do anything to help your skin, get like an oil instead. So a couple oils would be this one here. This is coconut oil. This isn't a cooking one, so you can get cooking coconut oil, which you can use on your skin and eat it. But this one here is meant for beauty, like putting in your hair or your body. So it is quite thick, and I actually have a little wooden stick that I use. So you only need a little bit, because the thing is, even though it's really hard, when you put it onto your skin, it actually melts into your skin. So like when you rub it in, it's like a what do you call it when something's hard? Solid. There you go. When you put it on, it goes on solid, but then when you rub it in, it starts to melt into your skin, and then it turns into oil, and then it just melts completely, and you don't like feel it at all. The other oil that I have that I tried, this one here is coconut milk and honey by Dr. Watkins. So I got this because I was doing Aquafit. And the thing is about this, you want to get an oil that doesn't spray, because this gets everywhere and it's just a complete mess, especially when you're in a stall. It's just like oil everywhere and it's just really bad. So I would definitely get something like an oil that is either a solid, like the coconut stuff, or something that you would pour. Oh, and another one too I wanted to mention was this one here from the Body Shop as well. So this is a prime example of that really liquidy that dries in really well. Kind of, so that's why it's probably in a spray bottle. It's almost gone. This one here, I find it is really good and it smells good and it does work well. The only thing is, when you use it, you have to use a lot of it because it dries into the skin. So when you put like a dab on an area and then you start to rub it around, all the new skin that it's in contact with, it absorbs it really quick. So you're going to have to use a lot more of it. So these don't really last very long. I usually only get these when I have a coupon after I've like bought so much or whatever. You get $10 off. So that's when I would, most likely purchase one of these. But it is really good and it does work well too. Onto some of my more favoritable ones. This one here I don't really use as much. It is a day cream, but I use it as a night cream. So in the winter time, my cheeks especially gets really dry and really like scabby because, like the wind and like just the cold air and everything just beats your skin really bad. So I find that this one here, the reason why I don't put it on the daytime is because it is creamy, but like the pina colada one, it does still have what I find a bit of a residue type oily kind of feeling, like something's on your skin. So that's why I put this on at night, and it is good to put things like that on at night because in the nighttime your skin is rejuvenating itself. It's repairing and it's doing all the work overnight. So that's a good time to be putting on lotion and things like that. And also when you get out of the shower too, because you're after washing everything off the surface of your skin, and it is good to just rejuvenate your skin after you've just taken all the natural oil away. Another one that I use on my face is the Moisture Rescue by Garnier Skin Active. So this one here is something that I use because it dries into the skin and it doesn't at all go oily or anything like that. And it's like a jelly. So I find this one here work. There's a green one like this as well. I think it's like clarifying or something, but I think both of them would pretty much do the same thing. So that's why I use this one, because it dries into the skin and it doesn't feel oily on my face. Another thing to use if you don't want to feel oil and stuff like that on your face, like have a residue or anything heavy, is to get serum. So that technically would be a serum because it's really thin and it's not like it's really hydrated. So like you can tell in the bottle if it looks really watery, like really watered down, really, you know what I mean, like it'll move or whatever, then you know that it's going to dry into the skin really well. Same thing with serums. So serums is another thing too. This one here is Drops of Youth by The Body Shop. As you can tell, I have a Body Shop next to me. Not that far. So yeah, like putting that onto your skin is going to be really, really well because like it's going to dry in. And I find with this one here with the serum and a little bit of the gel as well, when you put stuff like that on your skin and when it dries in, it kind of has a tightening effect. Like when it dries, it feels like your skin is like more tight. So that's why I like serums to be on my face to fight against that dryness and just give it a really nice smooth texture. One of my favorites that actually smells really nice and does work very well, because it does say it's not tested on animals and it's dermatologist recommended, is glycemide, however you would pronounce that. This comes into a hand as well. I just got a small body one, but it does come into a hand. And I find that these ones are really, really good for repairing. So if you have a really dry patch or anything like that, especially your hands, if you put that on, it is really, really good and it does work really, really well. So the dermatologist approved is something I guess really good to look at, like especially if it says that onto a bottle, that it's really good. And it does smell nice too, so it doesn't smell chemically or gross. Kind of smells like flowers, like a kind of flowery, but and fresh too. Another one that I use a lot that's recommended is actually bio oil. So it does claim to do a lot of things, it doesn't take away stretch marks or scars, but it does make it so that it's like weaker. It's not as prominent on you when you use it, and it does take more than one use. This is the big bottle. You can get one that's probably about this size here, so like literally well, not really half, because the cap would be this thick down here, so the product is probably about that much of the product. I find that this spreads really well as well because it is an oil. And it dries in really well. It does have like a scent of lavender, which I was a little bit meh about because I'm allergic to that scent. That's one of the things I'm allergic to. But I didn't have any reactions to this whatsoever, and I have kind of sensitive skin too. So that was really, really good that I didn't break it or anything like that, and I find that it does help, but you do need to continuously use it, like every day, twice a day if you have really, really deep stretch marks, or a scar that's really red or anything like that. You definitely want to keep using this and use it like every day, and then you'll see it over time, like gradually weaken. So it is really, really good. If it doesn't say dermatologist onto it, it should, because it really is really, really good. So it's good for scars. It says helps improve the appearance of both new and old scars. Stretch marks helps improve the appearance of existing stretch marks and helps reduce the appearance of stretch marks during pregnancy, teenage growth spurts, and other periods of rapid weight gain. Then it says uneven skin tone helps improve the appearance of uneven skin tone in both light and dark skin types. Aging and dehydrated skin helps smooth and tone the appearance of aging and wrinkled skin on both the face and body and helps retain moisture. Then it just says porcelain oil, so it contains the breakthrough ingredient porcelain oil, which reduces the thickness of the formulation and makes it easily absorbed. So yeah, so it is really, really good to have this here. Also for stretch marks, castor oil and aloe vera oil is also good as well. I just like the bio oil because it does have that extra oil into it, right, for your skin. And the second last thing is this Clean and Clear Persa gel. This stuff here is what I put on my face whenever I have breakouts or anything like that, and literally within the next day or a couple days it's gone. So it doesn't matter if you have a really deep set pimple, it'll help it kind of bring it to the surface more. If you have like a razor burn, or like a rash, or like those small little pimples like all around or whatever, you put that onto it and it is really, really good. Hopefully it's still made, because there's still a lot in this. I don't use it too much, and when I do, you only need a little drop of it and put it on the areas that you need. You don't need to put your whole face on with it, you know what I mean? Like, you just put it in those trouble areas. And it's by Johnson & Johnson too, so it is quite safe, and I don't think anybody would really break out with this either, because where it is by this company, they're pretty good with keeping things like really mild and everything. So yeah, like, it is really, really good. I definitely highly suggest to get this one here, because yeah, it's I find it work really, really well. And the last thing is kind of funny, because if you, doesn't matter if you own a horse or not, but the Mane and Tail brand is really, really good. Mostly because when it's used for an animal, you know that there's no harsh chemicals put into it, which is really, really good for us as well. And this does say, like, it is hand and nail therapy, right? So it's not just for the horses, but it's for humans too. Like, it's made for kind of both. And the reason why I tried this out is because I tried the shampoo and conditioner, which I can review at some point too. Um, and I decided to give this a try because my hands were kind of dry, and um, it it did. It's not really hand wise, I didn't really use it for my hands as much as my nails. So I could say, like, say if you ripped your nail off, or say if you're a bad nail biter and it's down past the quick. So the quick would be like the, you know, there's like a white line. Well, that past that white line is your quick. Okay, so if you bite or tear your nail past that, and you put this on before you go to bed. You don't have to wear gloves. I don't, but if you decide to, that's cool too. It'll be added extra moisture. But in the morning, you'll have a little sliver of like white, because if you think about it, you know, the reason why our nails would grow back so fast with this is because, you know, this is meant for a horse's hoof. I mean, that's a mega nail. So you can well imagine what it would do for a tiny little human nail, right? So that's why I find this cream is really, really good for that, for strengthening your nails and like getting them to grow and stuff like that. The actual cream of it, it doesn't smell bad, but it is, when you put it on, it is like a bit grainy when you rub it onto your skin, and when it dries, like you're kind of like it's like that, like it's very like, I don't know how to explain it, like it's like you bring up in your skin. But yeah, but it does dry in fairly quickly as well, and it does kind of give that medicated cream kind of feel to you when you use it, but it's not harsh at all because I've used it. My hands never broke out or anything like that, because I have to be careful with like scents and also the medicated kind of things, because sometimes that medicated kind of smell, like that methanol kind of smell, kind of will break out my skin because it is very strong. This doesn't really have that at all, so you should be fine with this as well. But yeah, it just says originally developed for horses to moisturize dry, cracked, and brittle hooves. Since it was applied to the hoof by hand, over time, many of the horse owners began to notice a dramatic improvement in the condition of their hands and the strength of their nails. Little fun fact. If you don't believe me, it's right there. So that was pretty much all of the products that I had, and I hope you guys find them useful if you ever try them out and you get good results on them. And I will see you guys on my next video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye, guys.